just how big a loss would it be to not have Kelsey and Hill? This season, Hill and Kelsey have accounted for 54% of Kansas City's receiving yards, meaning that the Chiefs' 13 other players with at least one catch have accounted for just 46%. It's pretty shocking. Hill and Kelsey also the only pair of teammates in the NFL to both rank top 10 in receiving yards this season and to have both eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark. So certainly you can't overstate their importance. But, Dan, what would the Chiefs' offense look like if these guys are missing?
I have no idea.
It's hard to know, right?
Well,
he don't know the answer.
When we asked this question, I reached out to our research guy teaching me how to buggy and figured how many times has Patrick Mahomes actually played snaps-wise without Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce both on the field? 84 times in his career. 15 snaps this year that he's had to play with at least one of those guys on the field. So to not have either of them, we just don't really know. Now, my initial thought process is it puts the pressure on the interior of the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting with Creed Humphrey, their starting center, who, by the way, should have been a Pro Bowler. Because I would lean into the fact that, okay, maybe this is something where Pittsburgh's defense has not been good stopping the run. Maybe they play that Marcus Spears desired brand of football where they turn around and hand the ball off a little bit and allow the three interior people within their offensive line that has been the strength of that unit this year. Try to lean on this Pittsburgh Steelers defensive line just a little bit. The Cam Hayward matchup versus Humphrey would be amazing to watch. But I think that's probably the thought process that comes to mind first is we don't really know, so go to something that we do, which is a little bit of that run game.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I have no idea who you are today, but I love it. Listen, I'm going to go to the other side.
Sweater.
I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to talk about Pringle. I'm going to talk about Mecole Hardman and also Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You talked about leaning into the run game, D.O., and I firmly agree with you, but it's also screen game. It's also getting the ball in these guys' hand quick. Mecole Hardman is your big play guy, the speed, the dynamic ability. We've seen Pringle play at a high level. Now you have to play at a high level without Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. And make no mistake about it, and I'm sorry to our producers, but here's the thing, all right? We always talk about quarterbacks, and we talk about tiers of quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, here you go, buddy. You got to overcome the things that you're dealing with right now from an offensive standpoint. You want to be in that Usher elite, top 5, top 2, top 3 category. You're going to have to make some plays happen for your team that normally Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill would take the pressure off of you. I'm not talking about pressing. I ain't talking about throwing the ball up in the air for jump balls. I'm talking about 15 Patrick Mahomes showing everybody why he's a $500 million quarterback for these particular situations. They are far and few in between, but here's your opportunity to get those guys around you to raise their level. But they're going to be looking to you, Pat, to make sure that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, and, at the times when Patrick Mahomes has struggled this year, Travis Kelce was struggling as well. So it's an important point. How could the Chiefs, Dan, aside from all that, falter in this game against the Steelers?
Well, first of all, Patrick Mahomes is elite. He is in the top 2 or 3 in the world.
Oh, no doubt.
Just I want to make sure that, I'll push back on that. I agree he's got to have a good game, but
this is I'm saying, D.O., this is an opportunity to continue to confirm it.
Well,
I agree with you.
Yeah,
but
I think the Chiefs offensively, you got to understand who you're going against as well when it comes to the Steelers offense. This is not an offense that's going to be explosive and score a ton of points against your defense. So don't be careless with the football. You mentioned, Marcus, the not having the mindset of pressing if you're Patrick Mahomes, thinking, well, my 2 guys aren't here. I got to go be something, try to make these crazy throws or these splash plays. I think that would get him into trouble. It's been something that did get him into trouble this year. So if I was, talking to Patrick, I'd say just because those guys aren't there doesn't mean you have to try and go be that Superman hero type of ball, because the only way that I still think the Steelers offense has success against the Chiefs defense is if you give them the ball on short fields and you turn the ball over 3 or 4 times, and then all of a sudden they're able to score 17 points off it. So I think valuing the football would be a big deal this weekend as well.
Yeah, again, the Chiefs potentially without some key players there. The other thing to keep in mind here when you think about the Steelers and their matchup is their defense is dead last in yards per rush allowed and second to last in total rush yards allowed this season, right? But they've been hanging around, Marcus. What can the Steelers do to potentially get the win in this one against the Chiefs?
This is about defense for them, El Boogie, and let's make no mistake about it, about what the Steelers actually are really good at, and that's forcing teams to play uncomfortable football. When you think about this unit and what they've had the ability to do, came up big last week with Joe Hayden stopping the guy, but up front, obviously TJ and Highsmith and Cam Hayward, they are going to have to get after this offensive line, which is another reason why it's important for Kansas City to stay kind of balanced and multiple. But if you allow these guys to pin their ears back and give them opportunities to rush the passer because you just completely abandon one side of your offense, you're going to struggle against this defense. And on the back end, Dio, I don't know if it's a bunch of safeties out there that we could find that's playing better than Minkah Fitzpatrick right now. So, again, Mahomes will have to be really careful, but you cannot allow this front for the Pittsburgh Steelers to pin their ears back and you become a predictable offense because you don't have Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill. Off balance is the key for Kansas City's offense.
It's a little
to keep Pittsburgh off.
It's a little football one-on-one for me for the Chiefs if those guys don't play, right? Value the football, make sure you block TJ Watt, run the ball a little bit. And then on defense, I think two things. One, they got to tackle really well. We know Pittsburgh, short passing game. Kansas City's going to play man coverage. You got to tackle really well. I say that every time someone plays against the Steelers offense. And then you got to win. The Steelers are going to take 5 to 7 shots downfield this game when they just drop back and throw the go ball. Those corners, Ward, Snead, those guys for Kansas City's defense, they're going to have to win them. You don't have to win every one, but you can't let Pittsburgh get 5 or 6 of them or PIs because then that generates explosive offense.
All right, so there you go. Tackle, don't turn it over, and take some deep shots downfield. There's your recipe.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.